Drowning in the water, swimming through the fire. I can't even call it. All I know is this will be the last time. Time to walk out that door. I don't wanna hear anymore. Whoa, oh, I can feel it in my core. We might have to take it by force. 'Cause we are the ones we waiting for. We are the ones we waiting for. We are the ones
Yeah, welcome. Welcome to the We Are the Ones podcast. I'm your host, Kareem. I love this intro every time. Thank you so much. We're coming at you every Wednesday, wherever podcasts are available, audio or visual. Make sure you like, make sure you leave a dope comment, make sure you subscribe. Every week we see the numbers going up. We appreciate the support. I also want to say at the outset, we are sponsored by Dr. Jonathan Bradboard and Fortitude. We got our retreat coming up in February. So whenever you're tuning into this, whether it's before or after February, make sure you tune in. It's a space for men to just connect to themselves, drop in deeper to their emotions, to the core of who they are, and discover more about themselves and share in a safe and incredibly fun way. So I'll see you in Boston, February. I forget the dates, but it's going to be lit. Last year was incredible, and this year is going to be even better. All right. Got the intro stuff out the way. This week I'm excited because we got a former Division I athlete. We got a behavioral coach, a life coach, a cyclist. I don't know if you ever been on one of them bikes and trying to ride. Shit's hard. I met this woman at an event I was hosting, I think last year, supporting the brand and then just watching all the things that she's doing. I'm just like, whoa, I gotta have you on just to like find out more about who you are and tap in. We got Daphne Adebayo here in the building.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good.
And y'all, this is her first podcast, but it's the first of many, so we're just gonna rock through it together. But you already doing great. You feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, cool. Thanks for being on. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming. Yeah, before we get into like anything, any questions on our podcast, we always start with just an emotional and wellness check-in.
Okay.
Mental health, emotional health is really important to us. And so if you could with me, just close your eyes. If you're watching, you're listening along, close your eyes if you can. If you are at work, if you're doing something important, just tune in as best you can. If you're sitting down, just feel your feet on the ground, feel your body, relax your fingers, relax your shoulders, relax your face. Take a deep breath in through the nose and let go. And now we're going to do our box breathing. We're going to breathe in for 5 seconds, hold at the top for 5 seconds, breathe out for 5 seconds, and hold at the bottom for 5 seconds. As we go through this cycle, just continue to allow your mind to think whatever it's going to think. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing to do. There's nowhere to be. You don't need it to stop doing anything. Just be the witness. All right, deep breath in. Here we go. Hold. Out. Hold. In. Hold. Relax, relax, relax. Out. Hold. Last time. In. Hold. Out. And hold. And bring your breath back to normal. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, open your eyes and come back to yourself. And now just for our check-in question, nothing crazy. If you could describe the current season of your life, and that means whatever it means to you, whether it's the last week, last 3 months, last year, if you could describe this season of your life as a weather pattern, what would it be and why?
I'm gonna go with like it's a growing tornado, but like
Yep.
not quite.
Okay.
Like it might get
You got
there,
a
but
tornado warning.
exactly.
Okay.
We on
Okay.
a watch.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
We're on a watch. But I think it'll clear and I think it'll be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I think mine is a hurricane, but it's the eye.
Okay.
So I see just craziness all around. But where I'm at is like sunny and
Okay.
peaceful. Um, but definitely know any second the storm is coming as well. But I feel also like prepared. Like my family from the Bahamas, from Jamaica,
Mm.
a lot of family in Florida, and it's like I'm prepared
When
for
you
the
do
winds. We got
this.
the windows boarded up. Like we cool. We got our food ready. We not worried at all. That's where my that's where my life has been this last season. So yeah, you joining here on the podcast. If
Mhm.
you can, just give us a brief introduction
Yeah.
about who you are. If you just met me on the street, how would you describe yourself right now?
Right now, I'd say I'm a very tenacious person.
Yeah.
So you mentioned I am a retired Division I athlete. So I started playing basketball when I was 10 years old. Finished up at 22. Didn't want to play overseas. I was like, I wasn't like good enough, you know what I'm saying? Where it was like I was gonna make a lot of money, and I was like, and then my knees. So let's go ahead. If we're gonna like make money, we're just gonna protect our knees, preserve our bodies. And so did a little bit of corporate work. I worked in IT for a bit. That just didn't work out. Worked in like recruiting, marketing, all those things. And
Like nah.
it all just ended with like the gym is my home.
Yeah.
Like that's where I'm supposed to be. So that's where I'm at right now, just growing as a fitness professional. So you mentioned indoor cycling. So I'm an indoor cycling instructor at Lifetime. I like to just tell people because cycling is intimidating. Like I get it. Like it's a little different.
It hurts my nuts.
Well, when you ride with me, we're not riding sitting down most
Okay,
of the
you one of
time. So
those
like,
stand up, get
yeah,
up.
exactly.
Got
And
it,
we're
got
just
it.
like,
All right, all right, all
so
right.
yeah, I teach rhythm ride. So we ride to the beat, and we do a lot of choreography. So I just tell people, I'm like, look, you just gotta try one time.
Okay.
Just try. I'll bring you one time. So
All
you
right.
just gotta try it and figure it out. But I think that it's just about the vibe and the energy. And so that's really like in my personal training, in my behavioral change coaching, and in any event that I'm doing for my community. It's like, what is the vibe that we're like creating? And how do we turn something that can be like very scary, like whether that's cycling or lifting heavy or trying just a different modality of working out, how do we like embrace that and walk into it like full force of like, okay, I'm scared of it, but like I'm gonna take it head on and then make it home.
I was just telling somebody last night about how I changed my life, and one of the things was whatever I was afraid of, I had decided that I needed to jump into head
Hmm.
first. Like fear had kept me prisoner so long in my
Hmm.
life. And so I went skydiving, I went scuba diving, I went just all the
Uh-huh.
things until I learned that the fear was really excitement.
Hmm.
I want to be good at this. I
Hmm.
want to experience it. And I'm just nervous that I'm gonna suck.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, so what? And so I will cycle. I used to ride my bike all the time. I would ride
Hmm.
20 miles a day
Oh
when I
gosh.
lived in Chicago, and that was
Okay.
cool because I ride to work.
Hmm.
But yeah, I never could see like just riding to music in a
It's
space. But I'm gonna
different.
try.
It's different.
So, what do you notice about people who are trying to change their life, trying to get
Hmm.
healthy, trying to tap in? What are some of the obstacles or like the average obstacles that people are
Yeah.
running into? Just like, how do I give myself to a healthier way of living and thinking and being?
Yeah. I think in culture today, it's either like all or nothing. Like
Yeah.
everything is all or nothing. Everything is I have to do this one thing. I have to like be successful at this. Or the example I like to give is like I'm gonna run an ultra marathon.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds intimidating as hell. I'm about to run an ultra marathon. Like, what am I about to do?
Yeah.
Like, no, you're not. Like, relax. Like, no, actually, let's start with your training regimen. Like, what are you going to do to get to that ultra marathon? So we have a tendency of
Mm.
we're gonna take on these massive and big things versus realizing it's the baby steps along the way that are actually gonna get you there. Cause a lot of people, a lot of times, if they're setting like New Year's resolutions or just like these lofty goals, like they fail. Like I think the statistic is like 80% of people who are like, I'm gonna have this year-long goal to get XYZ done, they fail. And it's because it's some massive
It's
thing,
too big
way too big.
without a plan or strategy to get somewhere. That's good. So
Mhm,
okay, so if I'm saying I want to do something
mhm.
crazy like for me, just a 10K
Uh-huh.
it seems crazy.
A 10K?
Okay, so but let's say a marathon. Instead of saying I'm gonna run a marathon and I'm not a runner yet, it's
Mhm.
saying I'm going to start lifting 3 days a week, or I'm going to start training in the gym. Is that what you're saying? Like break it down into something
Exactly.
smaller?
So if you even said like, okay, so I'm not even a runner. Okay, so if you want to run a marathon and you're not a runner, what is the first step you have to take? You have to become a runner.
Yeah.
So then how do we become a runner?
Yep.
Okay, how do I build that into my schedule? So, okay, every day I'm going to try to run for 10 minutes.
Yep.
Then after every day running for 10 minutes, okay, now 3 times a week, maybe I'm going to try to run a mile. Now after that, I get like that mile in. Okay, now let me try to run like 3. Like, how do you build yourself up to that point to make these baby steps? Because it all starts with like, how do I take one step forward?
Would you say, because this is what I've seen, because I
Mhm.
used to not be a runner, and then I
Mhm.
was talking to my friend Dan Duncan, who was like one of the first investors in We Society, and he was like, "Have you ever tried running without music, where like I can just hear myself?" And there's something about the rhythm of my feet and my breath. I just love it, and it's like, but every time I would set something smaller and achieve it, whatever that chemical is that made me feel great about achieving it, push me further the next time. Or sometimes even that time, it's like, I'm only going to run a mile. Well, then I run the mile and I'm like, oh shit, I still got more.
I can do a little bit
Yeah.
more.
But before, man, I couldn't do 4 or 5 minutes unless it was for a sport like soccer or basketball. I could run all day long, but just running for no reason. So would you say like that positive reinforcement,
Yes.
that consistent like success, okay, I'm going to come to the gym 3 days a week and then you
100%.
do it, that changes the game?
100%. Because think about it this way. If I'm saying I'm going to run an ultra marathon, or I'm going to run a 5K or 10K, and every day I'm going for a 10K, but I can't make it.
Yep.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks. Like it sucks if every day I'm going in and I'm being defeated.
Yeah.
But if I go in every day of like, it was a one step forward, 1%, like even if it's a half step, I took a step forward and was able to beat myself today and get better today. And so as long as you are focused on yourself, your journey, and then I think another part of that is fully understanding that success is not the same for everybody.
Right.
So your step 1 might not be my step 1.
Okay.
Your step 1 might be my step 5.
Clearly. Okay. That's all right. I'm going to be proud of my step 1.
And period.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. My step 1 is for me.
Exactly. And I think that's also something that people miss when it comes to fitness. Again, because of just the pictures that are painted in society of like what your fitness journey is supposed to be. Like, you're supposed to work out every day. Am I?
Yeah.
Am I really?
Yeah.
Like, if that's not what works for my body, like literally down to my body type, if that's not what works for me, why am I doing that?
When did you start thinking about yourself as an individual in that way? Where you're like, well, what works for me versus what I'm being told? Especially being an athlete, you got a coach and someone, all the athletes I know that are successful, you just have so many voices telling you like, be here at this time, do this, do that. When did you start to take your own well-being into your hands and make your own choices? And what did that look like?
Well, I will say it started with once I graduated, I was exercising my right to say no.
Yeah.
So after having
That
my
feels
schedule
good.
controlled for
Yeah.
so long, I'm like, nah, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And then, but to the point where then I was in overweight for myself. And then like my knees were hurting, my back was hurting, like all kinds of things where it was just like, I'm all of 26. Like, why does my body feel this way? Like, I know my knees have aged from like running on the hardwood, but like, ain't no way. Like, this can't be the thing. And I think back in 2018 when I quit my corporate job, and that's when I kind of like full-fledged, which is like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I had no backup plan, no nothing. I just like quit. So all I was doing was going to the gym, going to the gym, going to the gym. And I was like, wow, like I'm actually like falling back in love with the gym. And like, how do I share this with other people? And that's really what drove me to become a personal trainer. Cause I'm like, I'm in love with this. And it's not as difficult as we make it out to be because I got to choose this.
Yeah.
And then as I got into cycling, it was like, I got to choose this. So if I'm going to like, it's kind of like a joke in the fitness community of like, if you're a trainer, like you trying to make like folks die in the gym. I'm not that person. Why we got to die? I don't want to do that. But like, if you're going to choose like your battle, if you're going to choose your fight, at least choose what works the best for you. And so for me, I'm not a runner. I'm rooting for you in your 10K.
Yeah.
I'm not about to do that, but I like cycling. I love cycling. I'm obsessed with cycling.
Okay.
And that's the cardio that I know that it doesn't matter what's going on.
It works.
I'm going to do that.
Yep.
So it's about finding what is going to work best for you and what you actually like. Like at this point, like you're an adult. You can pick what you want to do. You don't have to follow a like, okay, well, we got to run and we got to do this. Like, no. And so once I really got into cycling of like, oh, this is like my thing. And I'm feeling so connected to the music and I'm learning different things about myself on a bike.
So talk to me about that. So it's like, we call it that moment, that aha moment, that oh, I am the one moment. Like, what does it feel like? How do you know? It's like, oh, this is my shit right here. What did it feel like for you?
It was when the first cycling job that I had, they were really trying to push me to be this like cookie cutter like thing down to I had purple hair at the time, and they tried to be like, oh, you didn't have purple hair. I was like, no, I came in my audition
Yeah.
with purple hair, like specifically because I knew y'all had weird rules about how I could wear my hair. And yeah. And so they were trying to push me into like this EDM space, and I'm like, I don't like EDM. Like I just don't. There's some EDM beats that like I can get with,
Yeah,
but
but it's
like
not your vibe.
it's like give me the hip hop. Look, I'll even take all of the pop. I'll take the dance jams. Like I'll put a little soca in there. Like we can do all of the things,
Yep.
Brazilian funk, but EDM.
Yeah.
And after like bombing a couple of times of like trying to put EDM in my playlist and then finally be like, I can't do this. Like I'm trying my best. I do my very best to be very inclusive in my music. And like, again, the things that I'm naming are all inclusive. Everybody can get a jam in class. And so once I bombed at that a couple times and then was like, you know what, I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to put like how I feel into this music. And that's when I was like, class completely changed. And
You're just sharing yourself.
I was like, yo, like, that was like one of your best playlists. And it just kept getting better. And then I'm just like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not supposed to be somebody else they're trying to tell me to be.
No, you gotta be you. Being yourself to me is the key. And if you don't know who yourself is, then discovering who yourself is your key. Like that is your journey to go on. And for me, working out, especially with music and in group settings, when I'm pushing myself, when you say like I get to learn so many things about myself. I get to know like I don't like this or I really love this. I learn how strong I am. Every time I feel like for me, it feels like sometimes I'm running through walls and then I get to a wall and I just run right into it. And I was like, okay, I need to stop. It's like, well, how long do I need to stop before I can get started again? How much space do I need? And that translates into so many different areas of my life to just take deep breaths, keep going. I can go further than I think I can. I was listening to something about these mice. They were doing an experiment on the mice and they threw them in some water and the mice are all swimming, trying to survive. And after about 4 or 5 minutes, they all start to drown. So then they save the mice and they take them out, they dry them off, and they let them rest for a couple minutes, and then they put them back in the water. And because the mice knew that they would be saved, they swam again for 2 days without stopping. Like just because they knew that I can do this or we can make it, something's gonna. And so for me, taking care of my body, pushing myself in that way is like I am not as done as I think I am. I'm not as tired as I think I am, or I really know I'm done because I do this so much. I actually know I need to rest right now. I'm not gonna take this call. I'm not gonna go to that meeting. I need to rest. I'm gonna just let everybody know I'm done for the day. That's how it feels for me to take care of myself. I don't know what everybody else is doing, but I would just say figure out who you are, trust who you are, and when you share who you are, that shit feels like magic. It feels so good to just. You shush. Nobody knows like I know what I am. This is the music we're gonna jam to, and then everybody gets to turn up. Exactly. You talk about being a safe space sometimes, creating a safe space. I think your last name is Nigerian.
It is.
Okay, cool. Before we get to this, how did your Nigerian family feel about you quitting your corporate job?
Well, I was raised by a single mother, so I don't have an answer to that. Yeah, my parents got divorced when I was pretty young, and so I was raised by my mom. I tell people, unfortunately, like I am all the way American, 100%. And I wish I knew about my Nigerian background, but I think that for me, the blessing is that I know that no matter what, I had the love that I deserved and needed to be like who I am today. So as much as I'm like, sure, there's daddy issues there. It is what it is. Like anybody who has someone like that significant in their life missing, like they're gonna have whatever issues. But to me, it's about, did I absolutely need them? Am I the only person in this planet who grew up without a father? Absolutely not. So how do I not let that hold me down? Because it very well could, and it'd be like my right to let that hold me back. But it's like, no, I'm good.
Going,
My family is solid. Like, and I've got literally every support I could possibly have, want, and need to be where I'm at today.
Shout out moms. I feel like we say this every week.
Love you, mom.
Shout out moms. And she was cool with it. She didn't think you were crazy. She didn't try to talk you out of it, or you
No,
didn't.
she's like my like biggest supporter, and it's funny. We had a conversation the other day of like a lot of the things that I'm doing, I'm learning that's like what she did. So
How
like
cool is that?
right, like accidentally, because she also is a cycling instructor, personal trainer, but she started with like Zumba, and so she would do a lot of like charity events and like Zumbathons, and because when she was doing them, I was in college, I didn't really know.
Yep.
And so right now I'm working on a proposal for Women's History Month event, and I'm telling her like all the things that I'm doing, and she was like, "You know what's funny? It's like I did that before." And I was like, "Yo," so she was like, "So whenever you get like the approval for like whatever you're doing, like let me know, and
Yep.
I got you." So no, she's always been anything that I've told her that I wanted to do. She'd be like, "Okay, like how can I help? Like what do you need? Let's do it." And I think that's what's allowed me to try so many different things.
Yep.
I feel like part of me felt a bit of like shame, you know, like of like quitting and like leaving things and being like an overachiever. You kind of feel like, dang, like why can't I let this stick? Like the thing that's supposed to bring me like security, like how can
Yep.
I not
Fuck it.
stick that out and like let that be the thing? And it's like she really helped me understand like that's not what I'm meant to do, and I don't have to do that if I don't want to. And we've had a lot of conversations, especially recently, about we get one life. Like we get one opportunity to be here, and if I don't like something, I don't have to like it. If I don't want to do something, I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Who said that?
I don't know, but we all heard it. Isn't that crazy? It's like there's no class that sits you down. It's like you have to do this thing, these
Yeah.
things you don't like. But we all heard that. Like we all heard the message. And then somewhere inside yourself, you have to just go like, no, I'm gonna I'm gonna pursue something else. And we don't even always know what it is
Mhm.
that we're pursuing. We just know that this isn't it, and
Yep.
sometimes that's enough.
And that's where I'm at right now. That's why it kind of feels like a little bit of tornado of like I just know that what I was trying to do, there was a reason I was immediately get rejected.
Yeah,
Immediately
bow,
get
bow,
rejected.
bow.
And it's like I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that like, nah, that's like the Lord is telling me something. He's trying to give me a lesson that I'm still not getting. So
Yeah.
he's gonna keep repeating it and it's gonna get a little bit faster and faster every time, sure, but like, come on now. Like
Okay.
now at this point, you might be blocking your blessings because
Yep.
you're not getting the lesson.
Yeah. So you're creating these safe spaces. You
Mhm.
mentioned you had Lifetime, but
Mhm.
the Lifetime you had is like the frou-frou, the bougie Lifetime.
That's what people say.
So what do you mean by creating safe
Uh-huh.
spaces, and what does that look like? And more importantly to me,
Mhm.
why is it important?
So let's talk about Lifetime first. I will say that Lifetime Buckhead is one
Okay.
of one, and that's someone who before like we actually opened late, and so before we opened, I was going to all of the different Lifetimes. So I was going to Sugarloaf, Peachtree Corners, North Point, like all of them around here, and Sandy Springs too. And so when I got to Buckhead, I did have like a little bit of like nervousness about that. And I
Yeah.
was talking to my manager and I'm like, man, like, I don't know. Like, but I'm gonna be me. He's
Yep.
like, no, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. He kept telling me you're gonna be fine. And once I saw like all the members and all the people, I'm like, wow, like I see everybody in here.
That's
Like
lit.
everybody. And everybody is shocked when I tell them that. And then when they go in there and they see it for themselves, they're like, oh yeah, like you were right. Like it's
Yep.
like pretty chill in here. So there's definitely like, the levels and people doing things for like cloud and the BBLs or whatever in there. Like you it's Atlanta. It's
Shout
Atlanta.
out to BBLs.
It's Atlanta. Like you're gonna see what you're gonna
You know what I'm
see.
saying? But they in the gym though.
They trying.
You know what I'm saying?
They trying.
Hey.
But I let it be known that when my riders come into the studio with me, or even like whatever other like fitness class that I'm teaching, that like be yourself, because that's all I'm gonna be in here. So
Yep.
I'm like, my one rule is if I talk, you gotta talk back. Like we in this together,
Yep.
literally
Yep.
together.
Participate.
So don't just be looking at me, because I've experienced that where at my old studio, I literally had to have a conversation because we were doing solidarity rides. I was like, I hope y'all know and understand that sometimes I feel like I'm like a monkey up here dancing for y'all. Like, I need y'all to know and understand that.
Oh.
Because when you think about what cycling is, there's not a lot of me. There's not a lot of Black females teaching cycling. It's just not what it is, because the barrier entry to the, I would say, sport itself. Cycling bikes are not cheap.
Yep.
So if a bike costs $1,600 and I need 20 of those,
I'm sorry.
yeah, just one of those bikes is like
Is what? How much?
like $1,600.
Wow. Nah, that's.
For
I
one
mean,
bike.
what's this? We got a one podcast, man. We
for
got
one
that.
bike. And so like if I gotta get 20 of them, Then I gotta get membership costs, and now you want me to pay for only a cycling studio? That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot of us in that space. But when I went to Lifetime, it was just different. Like, I'm not trying to say now it's like a sea of just like Black people in there, but it's definitely, I see it's Black, it's brown, it's caramel, it's white, it's everyone in there.
And what do you bring to the
Mhm.
space that you feel is important for people who are trying to
Mhm.
come in and feel that barrier of entry?
Yeah. I think one is the playlist. I definitely, I'm a Gemini, so I try to tell them like,
Word.
you're gonna get this Gemini
May or
energy.
June?
June.
Okay.
June.
I'm a June baby too. I was just
Let's
trying to see.
go.
Yeah. But I'm not a
um,
Gemini.
oh,
It's all
dang.
good. Keep going. Keep going.
June
Keep
is fire.
going.
But like the playlist, my goal is like everybody's not gonna like everything, like
Yep.
at all. But my goal is like we're gonna get like it might be, Gunna, it might be Meg, it might be Dua Lipa, it might be Miley Cyrus. Like
Mm-hmm.
who knows what's about to happen in here? So everybody's gonna get their jam. But then also in class there's what's called the dedication. And so in the dedication, like that's their opportunity essentially like to rest before we get into the final song. And during that time, I'm a very like motivational type of person. And so I speak like a lot of different kinds of words to let them know
Yep.
like, hey, like if you're going through something right now, like you're not alone. Cause anything that I'm saying, like I need to know like half the time I'm actually talking to myself.
You be having them crying on the bike?
Probably.
Yep. I already know. I already
Probably.
know. Especially because it's
Yeah.
like my endorphins are going, my heart is open, my blood is
Right.
flowing, and then like somebody sees me.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just having those moments. And I feel like nobody does that the way that I do, like respectfully. I don't know
Yep.
where it comes
Yeah.
from.
Yep.
But it's just like there's that moment every single class. And so sometimes I'll say it to address that this is a safe space. Or even like in today's class, I was talking about like be careful who you're taking advice from. Like, especially if you're trying to do something that the people around you have never done.
Mm-hmm.
How do you expect them to give you sound advice?
Yeah.
Like, so as much as they love you and want to be there, like how can you truly take the words that they're saying if they've never reached the heights that
That's
you've
why I was
reached?
messing with you. You ain't got the answers, Slay. It's like that's so real sometimes. It's
Mhm.
like I know you love me and like we want to save our loved ones from being hurt or
Yeah.
embarrassing themselves or spending their money or doing whatever. But it's like you haven't done this.
Mhm.
You gotta let me cook. You really want to support me? Then like clap or something. Like, come
Please.
to a class, do something, but
Please.
don't tell me what to do.
Please.
You don't know.
So I think creating
Respectfully.
that vulnerable moment is kind of is like what builds that safeness because I'm just being as open and honest as I can
Yeah.
and reinforcing of like, look, like if you feel away, if you feel attacked, just know I'm also talking to myself.
Yeah.
So no, you're not alone.
Yep.
And so I think just them knowing and understanding that they have someone who technically I'm on a pedestal, like I'm literally like on a podium.
Because they gotta see you.
Right. Like
Yep.
literally, but like no, like we here. We're here. We're in this together. And like if nobody's told you that they're proud of you today, if nobody said they supported you today, just know like that's how I feel about you.
Mm,
So yeah, I think that's really how I build that like safeness.
okay. Did you feel like on your athletic journey you had a lot of safe spaces coming up? Did it always feel like you were in a safe space, especially in basketball, or what?
I feel like unintentionally,
Okay.
from a standpoint of like I just felt so comfortable that I knew that I was around people who like we all wanted the same thing. We all had the same vision and nobody was like malicious about like trying to get there. And so knowing that literally any gym is home, like this is where I can go and not be judged for anything else but this one thing.
Yep.
And I'm good at this.
Yeah.
So like I know everything is gonna be fine here. And I know that I'll be taken care of here.
Mm,
And if anything goes wrong, I'm not just by myself either. So I feel like again, I say unintentionally because when you think about a sport, it's supposed to like make you uncomfortable and make you grow and push
yep.
you.
Yep.
And like there's a many of workouts that I'm like, I don't even know how I survive. But like it still was like a comfort zone because I always had the weight room. I always had my teammates. I always basketball like was the one thing that never did me dirty.
Yeah, at all.
Like
We talk about basketball a lot on this podcast for some reason. I love ball, but I never played. I was pussy, so I didn't try out.
No,
I know.
Come
I was
on.
nice too. I was playing all the time, and
You just didn't try out?
nah, I'm thinking about joining the league now though. Like I'm 37,
Mhm.
so I'm thinking about
Like a girl man league?
yeah,
Go do it.
I will.
Go do it.
See,
Go do it.
it's gonna happen.
100%.
My boys play,
Mhm.
and so it's been fun, and I'm doing everything I can to not like push them too hard, but they want it more. So it's like I'm instead of like pulling them, I'm
Mhm.
like behind them, just fanning the
Oh,
flame.
that's good.
But with that said, when did you know you were the one you were waiting for? Like you were like, oh, I gotta I got an opportunity and I'm about to take it, whether it was in basketball or whatever it was, just somebody who like takes ownership of their life. When did it click for you? Were you 7? Were you 11? Were you 22?
Um, I was probably around 26. And there was an incident. I won't go too much into it because it's actually completely irrelevant to the conversation.
Okay.
But essentially, someone wouldn't speak up for me. And it was a pretty simple situation because we were just at a restaurant. I'm like, yo, like, how did you get the vegetarian order wrong? Like, I
Yeah.
ordered this basic like thing, but my plate came out 3 times wrong. And like now you're trying to say I'm belligerent and all these things. And I thought my friend was about to like speak up for me, and they're all just kind of like sitting there. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a very pivotal moment for me where I was like, I can't wait for anybody to like come and save me or
Nobody's
anybody
coming to save you.
to speak up and like
Yep.
handle a situation for me. Like now, even though like some people should,
Yeah.
and some things just kind of like make sense. I'm not just gonna let my friend like sit out there to dry like that. But it kind of just like clicked in that moment because they were also about to like call the cops, and I'm like, wait a minute, like this is a lie. This was too much. And so I was like, wait, like hold on, like you're assuming something about me because you gave me a drink. No, I'm very like sober and a calm mind, and you're trying to twist my words. And I was like, I didn't like that feeling. And from not liking that feeling was like, okay, like from this day forward, it's like if there's something that I want, there's something that I need, like I'm not waiting for anybody to speak up for me to get it done or to try to tell my story or to try to explain how I feel about a situation. Like, no, I'm about to start being very direct, very upfront, and it kind of is what it is. And I know I'm working on my like delivery and those certain things, but at the same time, I feel like
Cap.
I am working on it.
Cap.
A little bit. A little
Okay.
bit.
That sounds so good. I'm working on it. God's not through with me yet.
She's a work in progress.
Okay. All right.
But I feel like if I wouldn't have had that moment of like knowing that I need to be direct and speak up for myself, I wouldn't have any opportunity that I have right now.
Yeah.
Because I like even like so I'm a Lululemon ambassador. I had to speak up to get that one. I had
Yeah.
to ask for that. Like people assume like with these brand deals, they just come, right? They just come and left, right? I'm like, I had to ask for that. That was persistence. I showed up. I put in the work. Like, and I'm gonna keep speaking up and asking for what I want because why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? So I love this. I do want to know when you retired what that felt like to be like, oh, I'm done with this journey in this way before
Yeah.
we close.
It was definitely an identity crisis, and I feel like that's something that I think, and I'm pointing at you, universities, and programs that y'all really need to have conversations with athletes about life after sports because a lot of times that conversation isn't had. And I had a semi one, but it was like, I don't know what I want to do. Okay, go to school. To do what?
Yeah.
And so really being able to be like, hey, like here's how if you know you're done. I knew the beginning of my senior year I was done. I knew it. I was like, I'm doing this because like I got a year left. Y'all not about to kick me off the team.
Yep,
Like what we
yep.
about to do? And so like, but how do you create that plan for somebody? Cause then I get out of school and I'm like, well, what? Okay, then I'll go back to school again. Now I've accumulated student debt for what?
Yeah.
To get a master's degree that like shout out to Georgia State. Like, yes, thank you. I love that I have my master's, but like, it's not until now that I'm really starting to like utilize it. So, did I really need it? Because I could have learned some of those things off YouTube, like respectfully. Like, I think it's a great program, but did I need that avenue? If I would have been more prepared as to like, hey, like life is going to throw these different things at you, but you do have a choice, maybe it would have been a little bit different. And so it was definitely an identity crisis of like, who am I without basketball? And who do I become? And how am I supposed to show up into this world? Because I did this thing. So I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
So at 22, if all I know is going to practice, going to games,
then it's just done.
travel.
Yep.
So it was a lot of trying to figure out like who I am again. Who am I not on this court? And so like paralleling that to now, it's so important to me of like, who am I off the bike? Because I don't want to be just a cycling instructor. Like,
Yep.
and that's why sometimes people are like, when you do so many things, you might be a little scattered. It's like, no, I don't ever want to be just one thing. Because if it's gone, if for God forbid, for whatever reason, I hurt my knee and I can't cycle, then what?
Yeah. One of my mentors used to say it's a disrespect to the creator to be one thing. We're here to be everything.
I like that.
And I just love that. It's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm supposed to be except myself. And I'm
Yes.
just going to continue to follow my heart to all the different things and all the
Mhm.
opportunities it opens. I definitely think now, how long you been retired? A couple
Well
years.
over 10 years.
Oh, 10 years?
10 years.
I think I can get some buckets in a one-on-one.
Look, just because I'm retired don't mean I ain't in shape.
I can get some buckets.
You can get some buckets, you wouldn't win.
I didn't say that.
You did not.
I didn't.
You
I
know
didn't
what?
say
You are
that. I was
absolutely
very
correct.
careful, but I could.
Whole time I don't even play anymore, but I go like we can go to Dave and Buster's. I play the shooting game. Lights out.
Word.
Lights out.
No, I'm trying to get on the court. My knees are fine. Yeah. Don't even.
I'm dead.
I appreciate you so much. What I'm taking from this is like, yeah, just being able to go with the flow.
Mhm.
Like you brought up the identity crisis. I remember for me, I was married, I was a pastor, I was all these things, and then like I had what felt like an awakening. I told my wife at the time, like whoever I was died.
Mm.
Like that person was gone. And
Mhm.
then it was like, well, then who am I?
Yeah.
Because the whole way I processed the world was through this matrix or this
Mhm.
prism. And now I know that I'm choosing whatever lens I'm wearing. And that can be the most frightening thing in the world. It's like everything that happens from this moment on is on me.
Yeah.
Like the choices and not choices, everything I choose, I'm also not choosing
Mhm.
these other things. And how do I know if it's right or wrong? And I only got this one life
Yeah.
that I know of. So I love that, just being able to go with the flow of that and trust the process, to push ourselves and to trust ourselves to relax, to rest, and to go hard. Taking things into smaller chunks. It's like I do want to run a marathon.
Go off.
So now it's like, all right, what's the small thing to start doing that? Because I've seen the effects of small victories accumulated over time has just been the most revolutionary thing for me. And anything else that I'm missing in the recap will be in the show notes. Anything you want to say at closing to specifically anybody like you who might be watching, they're 16 years old, they're trying to figure out what's going on with their life. What advice, what words of wisdom or foolishnness do you feel like you needed to hear at that time that you could say now?
I'm gonna go with words of wisdom.
All right, that's good. I respect it.
And I'm gonna say you belong. Like it doesn't matter if you are one of one. If you decided that's the space you want to be in, if you decided that's what you enjoy, that's like what you love and brings you the most happiness. Like trust that you belong. Like no matter what, and you will find your people in that space eventually.
Come on. The world you in is not the only world to be in. There are people out there for you that are just like you, that resonate with you. And you just got to be brave enough to be yourself so that they can see it.
And do it scared if you got to, because that's how I do it.
Do it scared. Knees shaking.
Listen.
Just,
Sweat.
I don't know. It's like, bitch, if you don't jump. All right, I appreciate it. Here, we're going to close out. We're going to close out the same way we closed in, opened up. Shit, I don't know. But you know, it's that time. Close your eyes, relax your body, and this time see how much more relaxation you can call into your body, into your space. Literally, relax your eyebrows, relax your cheeks, relax your jaw, relax your shoulders. If you've been holding them tense, whatever you're doing, relax your hands. We're gonna breathe in for 5, hold for 5, breathe out for 5, hold for 5 at the bottom, and listen for a special cue that I'll give in between. So, deep breath in, hold, out, hold, in, hold, suck in some more air, hold, and out. Hold, hold, and in. And breathe regular. Open your eyes. On this checkout, how are you feeling? What are you checking out with? What are you leaving this space with what energies are present?
I feel a lightness. I feel like we had a really good conversation. Of just it to me, it just sounds like a lot of hope, and just even reminding myself to continue to take baby steps. And just happy to have a place to share and to have an easy conversation.
Yeah, ease. With the Geminis, it's not always. Yeah, Kareem checking out with. I feel at peace. I feel very excited. I see myself running this marathon, but I ran a Tough Mudder before, and I kind of want to do that again. I don't know if I ever just run for running, but doing obstacles and getting dirty. That's
I want to do one of those.
Yeah, that's fun. See, you can train me for that. I'm checking out with that. Oh, and I want to get you some of this We athletic apparel. I know you with Lululemon, so no, we ain't trying to mess up your bag.
I can do what I want.
Okay. Hey, let's go. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure you tune in next week. We'll be right here on Wednesday with another dope guest. Make sure you leave a comment. Where can people find you?
You find me on Instagram, Dap_Adebayo. So like dap me up, DAP_. A is in apple, D is in dog, E is in elephant, B is in boy, A is in apple, Y is in Yankee, O is in orange.
She's never had to say that before.
Ever. But so Dap_Adebayo on Instagram.
And if they come to train with you for the first time, do they get a first session? How does that work?
As far as cycling, depending on the month, I might be able to get you in the gym for free. As far as training, just DM me. We can talk through it.
See, there you go. We are the ones. To see you next week. We out.
We really the ones we've been waiting for all along. I don't know why we be looking elsewhere. We gotta turn in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Found everything I needed, me no need to look no more. The timing was exquisite, even when I thought I missed it. I was tripping, I was falling, but I never failed. I embrace my flaws and imperfection. I am grateful for the lessons and the blessings. Remember when I was stressing, we can do anything we put our minds to. Believe that. We open to the ops and the feedback. Ops mean opportunity, hoping that you see that. I'm saying what I mean. We brave enough to go after our dreams. It ain't really hard as it seems, and even if it is, then we can do the hard things. I'm alive and I'm well. Even in the darkness we prevail. Never put my greatness on a scale. Nobody can outweigh that. I did it to myself and it's the payback. Spinning wheels for this fortune, what you say, Jack?